been doing interviews for pretty much all my career, so 27, 28 years. Most of it was in news, first 17, and a lot of it was just the lighting, positioning and filming them. But I did get to watch a lot of interviewees do their thing, and that in itself was a terrific education for when I started actually doing the interviews myself. It was terrific to watch these incredibly talented interviewers extract the information beautifully. And that's basically what interviews are. It's about extracting information to tell your story. But I also did see some absolutely awful examples of interviewers basically telling the interviewee what to say. That's not an interview. You need to get people to say things in their own words. And it's that thing of seeing things done well and done badly which really helps you in knowing how to get it right yourself. If you're not lucky enough to have the ability to watch other people do interviews, you can look at stuff online. Of course, that is going to be edited down. You won't see the mistakes that they made. And if you are starting out doing this, you will make mistakes. My first interviews were not very good, but I got better and better and better. And that is how you've got to do things. You just have to accept that mistakes will happen and learn from them. There's no point making mistakes if you don't learn from them. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, but when you get there, it's going to be so much better. But remember, that key word, I'm going to say this throughout this episode, is confidence. Interviews are conversations. They're conversations where everything that's being said is the most interesting thing you've ever heard. My analogy I like to talk about with this is when you're going on those first dates and you sat across the dinner table and what's being said to you is really not that interesting, but because it's your first date, it becomes the most interesting thing you have ever heard. And you'll have situations like this when interviews aren't actually what you're interested about. And that's fine. And that's why, in a way, you need to be a bit of an actor as well, to just feign that sort of interest when you're doing those. If you're doing those results for a bank, you're doing a corporate, you may not have any interest in it whatsoever, but you need to actually show it. Maybe this feels a bit overwhelming to start with, but this episode is designed to make these things a bit easier. In fact, a lot easier. There's so much to know, and it's going to be so much better if we are out on location and showing you some real examples. So we're going to show you some stuff inside a nice house, inside a very bland office, which we tend to use quite a lot for corporates, and out and about in daylight and dealing with real world situations. Sound is so important. We're going to teach you about sound and how to get the best sound for interviews, and of course lighting. Show you 3-point lighting, how to know what these rules are, but how to know how to break them. I was taught back in news by a terrific cameraman, Jerry Williams, and he always said to me, mate, if you've got more than one light out, you've got one too many. Now that's just a way of doing things simply, and you can do a lot with one light, but you do want to break this sometimes. The way we're going to find this is out on those locations.
We have men and women that come in here. Not as many women, but it is kind of, a guy's place, to hang out. We always say in cigar lounges, you come in and tell stories and tell lies, and everybody's got a story they're telling about their bad day at work or something like that. Yeah, I think the first time I smoked a cigar, I turned green from it, and that's kind of hard work for me to turn green, but, it's there's an art to it. You don't inhale a cigar, you puff on it.